Hi, my name is Eric Miller. Welcome to your course in Sociology, Sociology 210. I'm very excited to have you here and hope that you get a lot out of the course. The purpose of this video is just to introduce you to the course itself and to show you around a bit. So this is the only time you have to look at me, so go ahead. And then the rest of the time we'll be looking at the screen as you would see it in the course. So when you first log into your course, this is your course homepage. Of course, you've already been here. You wouldn't be watching this movie, but to let you know some of the major features, I'll go through each of these. This homepage is important because you'll see here the announcements are right here in the center of the page, and I use these quite frequently if there is something you need to know about the course or to remind you of upcoming things. So always be sure to read your announcements. You can also see over here on the right these tabs that say Institution, Course, and View All. If you seem to be missing an announcement, hit View All. You'll see everything that way. So there you can see a new announcement popped up about an announcement from the institution itself rather than about the course, about a new password management system. So you can control all of that. Over here on the left, of course, you see the menu bar. I try to keep this as simple as I possibly can. There are other options here. You can click on the little folder to bring out a different view. I'll pop that up here so you can see it, where you can see sort of a nested view of the entire course, including all the assignments, etc. So if you like that view, that's how you can get to that. Always you can go home by clicking on the little home button. So that's all there is here. So moving over here to the faculty information section, when you click on that, this brings up a picture of me and my daughter. That's Sophie. The most important thing on this page is my email. Whenever you need to get in touch with me, email is the way to go. So just miller.eric@gaston.edu. That also works for texting, by the way. If you prefer to text, almost all carriers, if you just, rather than putting a phone number into the send field in your message, if you just type my email in, it will actually come through to my email and I can reply directly back to you from my email and it will text you instead. Be sure if you send a text or if you send an email that doesn't contain your name that you do let me know who you are, because that can be very confusing, obviously. Another thing to remember is that I'm in Oregon, so I'm 3 hours behind you. So if you email me at 8 in the morning Eastern, I'm going to be asleep because it's 5 a.m. That also means that you'll occasionally get emails from me in the middle of the night because I'll still be up. It's not as late here. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And that also obviously means it's going to be very difficult for us to meet face to face. But I'm always available by email and we can call or whatever if we absolutely need to. One last caution is to please just use that email address rather than using any sort of internal system to Blackboard, because I don't use the internal system at all and those emails would never go through. So long and short of it is always use the miller.eric@gaston.edu email and we'll be fine. Right, so moving over to the syllabus tab, when you click on that, you're taken to the course syllabus, which is broken up into different sections. I'm only going to go through the first one fully, and I'll comment a bit on the second one and about the syllabus acceptance at the bottom. If you go into assignments and grading, this is where the bulk of the things that you're going to care about are in the syllabus, because this tells you what the requirements are. So just to go through these very quickly, you'll be watching a series of lectures, online lectures, just exactly like what you're watching now, except that they'll have keynote or PowerPoint slides that I'm narrating about the course material rather than just telling you about the logistics as I'm doing now. Be sure that you watch each of these. You can't pass the course without watching the lectures because you can't pass the midterm and the final exams without watching the lectures. The book alone is not enough. So be sure that you watch those, take notes on those just as you would in a regular class. Your notes will be something that you can refer back to as you're taking the midterm and the final exams. So take good notes and you'll do well in the midterm and the final. You can watch these lectures as many times as you want to. Just be sure your sound is turned up and that you master the material. If you understand what I'm saying and can put those things, those concepts into your own words, you're going to do well. The second thing that you'll have as far as assignments are readings from your textbook. You will read almost every single chapter in your textbook, and so obviously you want to read and take notes on what you're reading as well. And to see how well you're grasping each of those readings, there will be a series of quizzes. And these quizzes are on the textbook. They were actually written by the textbook author. And so anytime that you're asked to do a reading, you'll also be asked to take a quiz on that reading. And these quizzes each have 20 questions. You can use your book as you're taking them. There's no time limit. And you look for the answers and you find them and put them in and hit submit and you're good to go. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a minute. One catch. You have to score at least a 90 before the due date in order to get any credit at all for those quizzes. My thinking is if you can use your book and you have as long as you want and you can take it as many times as you want, requiring at least a 90 is not unreasonable. So you really need to master the material and understand what the right answers are in order to get credit. So once the due date passes, you'll either have 100 or a 0. You'll have 100 if you scored 90 or above on your highest attempt, and you'll have a 0 if you scored 85 or below. So that's something to be very careful about. There will be 2 exams for the course, a midterm and a final exam. These will also be online, but they'll be different from the reading quizzes in a couple of ways. One way is that they're not based on the book. These questions were written by me, and they are based on the lectures that you will be watching. So this is how I test your understanding of all these online lectures. Be sure that you're prepared and that you have taken really good notes before you hit that you're ready to take the exam. Because once you click that you're taking the exam, you've only got an hour to complete it. And there are 50 questions on the midterm, and I believe 44 on the final. So in an hour, you can't really look all those up. You have to have the material in your head in order to be able to complete it on time. And if you don't complete it on time, the test will submit anyway, and you won't get any credit. So that's a little different. So with those, you are able to use your notes or your book if you like, but they're not based on your book, so that won't really help you. So you want to take really good notes on the lectures and understand the material so that you can do well on those exams. We'll talk more about those when we get closer to time to take them. And then the last requirement for the course are discussions. There will be 3 major discussions, one on social theory, one on deviance, and one on race in America. Those will constitute 20% of your grade, as you can see there at the bottom of the page. And so you don't want to miss any of those 3 discussions. And you'll be posting your answers to the discussion questions, the discussion post on the discussion board, and we'll look at that more in just a bit. So there's the breakdown of how you are graded. 50% of your grade is on the midterm and the final, 25% each. 25 for the midterm, 25 for the final. All of your reading quizzes together constitute 30%. So don't think that you can just do, the reading and the reading quizzes and pass the class. You can't. They constitute 30% collectively. So each reading quiz is not worth nearly as much as either the midterm or the final. And then the last 20% is based on your participation in the course, primarily on the 3 discussion questions that you will have throughout the course. There's your grading scale, standard 10-point scale. And then the last thing is there's no extra credit. Extra credit is kind of pointless. If you do the material for the course, you won't need it. And if you don't, any extra credit I gave you wouldn't be enough to really matter anyway. So there's no extra credit, so please don't ask. The other thing is, let me go back and look at the college policies as far as participation. I clicked on the second link down. The participation policy basically says that you have to complete at least 90% of the course to get credit, and that you can't disappear is what it amounts to. So in an online course, what that basically means for me is if you miss 2 assignments in a row, I have to automatically drop you. So don't miss assignments. You've got a week to do them. It's not hard to meet those due dates. Do them ahead of time if you know you're not going to be around or whatever. So don't miss 2 assignments or I will have to drop you, and that's not something I want to do. And one last thing on the syllabus, if you look at the very bottom, there's a syllabus acceptance. This is something that once you've gone through the syllabus and read it, please click that link, click begin, and then just go over here and hit yes and save and submit to let me know. It'll say, are you really sure? You say yes. to let me know that you have accepted the syllabus. So that's something that's required by the school. So be sure and do that. Before I can really let you continue in the class, we have to have that syllabus acceptance. Okay, so coming over to the assignments tab, this is an important one. This is where you'll spend a lot of time in the course. This is all of your assignments for the course, and you can see there's 7 here. There'll be more as the course goes along. I'll post more, including the midterm and the final exam. Those links will be here when that time comes. Eventually there'll be 13 assignments, I believe, in total, but we'll wait a while to put those up as the course goes along. You're already in assignment 1, so I won't bother with that. Let me click here into assignment 3 just to give you an example of some of the things that you might see. Here's what a reading assignment looks like. There's really nothing to do there other than read the chapter that you're told to read. It reminds you of all the things about taking the quiz and that you have to score at least a 90 to get credit. When you come down here and click on the quiz, this will take you to a page that asks you if you really want to take it, and you say you do. And then you can go through and answer each of these questions. You have the option of saving your answers, and at the bottom of the page, once we scroll down, you can even save the test and come back to it. But there's really no point, because with reading quizzes, you can take these as many times as you like anyway. When you're done, hit save and submit, and as long as you've scored a 90, you'll get credit. If you haven't scored a 90, go back and do the same thing again. Take the, well, it's going to make sure that I really want to do that, because that's just how it does. But when you go back to this page, you'll see that the link is still there, and you can take it again. Keep taking it until you score at least a 90 so that you get credit. Here's the lecture. This one happens to be on social theory. It's a YouTube video. When you click the link there, it will start the YouTube video, and it should play right there for you. And I'm going to cut it off so I don't have to listen to myself. If for some reason you can't get the YouTube video to work, for each assignment I've included an MP4 file, which should play on pretty much any machine. You can save that to your desktop by right-clicking on it and then downloading the linked file. I'm on a Mac, so it may look slightly different depending on what browser and machine that you're using, but that file should always play if you can't get the YouTube file to play. And so you watch that lecture, you take notes on it, just as I explained earlier, so that you'll do well in the midterm and the final. And then I showed you this one because actually we have a discussion assignment here. In this particular one, you're asked to read these 3 different links and then to go to the discussion board and post. So these assignments are arranged sequentially, and you'll go through all of these. Pardon me, I'll just click back over here. You'll go through all of these during the semester in order. You know, don't do assignment 4 before assignment 2. Let's not think quite that out of the box. And as you go through each of these, you'll have the different topics, and they're not all the same. I mean, some weeks there may be different assignments than others. So don't think just because one week required a certain thing that the next week will require a certain thing. Also, I'm using the term week very loosely. Sometimes you only have a few days to finish an assignment. Sometimes you have more. So when we get down to due dates, you'll see what I'm talking about. So that's how the assignments for the course work. Fairly self-explanatory, I hope. Okay, so the next link over here are the due dates, and these obviously, depending on what semester you're watching this, will vary. They'll also vary by the length of the course and whether you're in a late start course, etc. So this is just for example, these due dates, but for each assignment in the course, including the midterm and the final exam, you have the due dates here. And the main thing to know is you can always turn in something early, but you can never turn it in late. So these are just that. They're due dates, meaning that you can't turn anything in once these dates have passed. And specifically, 11 p.m. Eastern Time is the due date for these. So the assignment 1 in this example there would be due on January 18th at 11 p.m. Don't assume that it's always on the same day every week, etc., because of breaks and all sorts of things. These dates vary. So each time that you finish an assignment, go back and look and see when the next assignment is due. They're there for you anytime that you want them. A word about the midterm and finals, you'll notice that there's a date range because of rules having to do with when those can be offered on the academic calendar. You'll need to make sure that you're coming in to take them during that period. Don't wait to the last minute to do these things. Don't procrastinate, because there will be things that go wrong. You're dealing with online systems and technology. It's just asking for trouble if you wait to the last minute. So do things early and you'll have a much happier life, and so will I, and your grade will be better. So that's the end of my speech on that. Okay, the next link down is called the book. That's fairly self-explanatory. There's a picture of the book we're currently using, Mastering Sociology by James Henslin. That's available in the bookstore, or go anywhere you like online to get it. Share books, I don't care. As long as you have a copy of Mastering Sociology by Henslin in order to do well on your reading quizzes, I don't care where you get that book. If you get it used, if you rent it, if you purchase it, however you want to get it. Just be sure that you get that book, and you'll be good. Okay, the next link is the discussion board, and this is the place that you'll come to complete in assignment 1 here, your introduction to yourself. And these all work the same. There actually will be 2 more forums posted here eventually once we get to them in the calendar. But when you go into the forum, you just click here, and you'll see that the original post is by me. You'll go and read that post, and then hit reply, and post your response. Once you're done, you hit submit, and that's all there is to it. You also should go in and read once your classmates have posted and reply to them. If you want to get a good grade on the discussion portion of the course, you're going to want to put some thought and effort into these discussions, and also into replying to your classmates. Other than that, that is fairly self-explanatory. And I'm assuming that most of you have probably used discussion forums before. It works just like Facebook or anything else. You're just replying. To keep everything organized, I do keep all of the things, the discussions, as replying to me initially, and then once you reply to me, you can reply to each other. So I know you're all used to that forum format. Okay, and then finally the last button, one that's very important to you, is the My Grades link. When you click on that, you will be taken here to the grade book, and this will show you all of the grades that you've earned thus far. You'll notice that it's only showing up through quiz number 5. That's because I haven't made the last few quizzes available for the course. Once they are available, you'll see them show up here in your grade book as well. You can see that I've taken the syllabus acceptance, and that's been completed, and that I'm working on that quiz on research that you saw me take part of. So you can come here to see your grade. There's never any question what you have. And the nice thing is, once you actually have some grades, you can see your current average. Now, until you take the midterm, your average is likely to be 100, because as long as you do the reading quizzes, you're going to have 100. But you can keep an eye on where you are, and how much the various tests count in relation to each other by keeping an eye on your current average right here. So again, that's fairly self-explanatory. All right, so we've gone through everything. Let's go back home here to the announcements page. And please be sure and email me if you have any questions, and welcome to the course once again.